now it's time for with Nia.Biaa.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump right into it because I don't know nothing else. All I do is stay ready. The fuck? Anywho, I'm coming out the gate strong. So your man Tory Lanez is wilding.
First off,
You
were the one capping for you were the one. You were the one.
You really lie to your face.
It was like, I really like his album. You know, I really love it. You didn't say you like Tory Lanez's album?
Wait, his last album, not the one that just came out.
Yeah,
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, you were a Tory Lanez fan.
You are a Tory Lanez fan. You have his album on your phone. I know because you keep saying the one with him and T-Pain on it over and over and over and over again.
That's it. And yes, sir. That's the only two.
No, you have the album, sir.
No, I have the album because I downloaded. You know, I'm an album. I listen to albums.
Okay, so don't be out here just trying to paint me as the only one out here who's fucking.
Well, we know I'm trash. There's no.
No. Don't make it seem like I'm the only one out here fucking with Tory Lanez. Like after shooting, before shooting, we was here. We was like this. Pre-shooting and after shooting Tory Lanez is two different relationships. I will say though, when everything kind of happened, because when there was really no news coverage, and we also weren't even here to kind of cover the news either because we were on our little break. But I just couldn't understand what happened, right? Like, not to blame anybody because I definitely don't want to blame anybody. But you definitely have a lot of questions when there's a gun and people getting shot involved. Because I'm like, all y'all was on Instagram Live, buddy. Like, I don't understand how we go from that to from driving a boat to having the boat drive you to the hospital. I don't. I just didn't understand it.
Basic boating service.
Yeah, a lot of people thought I was out here for real capping for Tory, and I was like, no, that's definitely not what I'm doing. I just want to know more information in general because it don't matter who gets shot. I'm going to have some questions, okay? Unless it's Donald Trump. And by all means, aim for the red hat. However, anything other than that, I'm going to have some questions, okay? But for those of you who do not know, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion are not on good terms since he shot her in the foot some months ago.
Allegedly.
No. Well, okay, sure, allegedly. So a couple days ago, he released on his Instagram that he is ready to speak. So, he had the internet and what they would call an uproar, sir. So because of this, he had everybody paying a lot of attention to him. And I guess he thought the best thing to do would be to release an album called Daystar about the situation. So in there, he states that the day of question, he was heavily flirting with Kylie Jenner, someone he's already had a crush on previously. If nothing else for anyone else, you can tell how he could have shot her in the foot and made that bad decision if he made that other bad decision by liking Kylie Jenner. But however, we are all human, I understand.
You think it's a bad look? Wait, based on how she looks or just fucking with that family?
Well, I just have a problem with that family in general profiting off of blackness and profiting off of black people without due process, I guess, without acknowledging where they get this stuff from. So I it's more about character for me, right? But also you can't steal our lips, you can't steal our cheekbones, can't steal our hair, our style, our men, and think that I'm just gonna be okay with it. But that's me personally. I don't put that personal taste on to anybody else. I definitely do look at you a little funny if I look at Meg Thee Stallion, who is an actual black woman, and then I look at Kylie Jenner, who is a photocopy of a black woman, that's missing a little bit of ink or a lot of big ink. I'm probably gonna look at you a little sideways. So, moving on though, he released an album stating that he was heavily flirting. A lot of people are insinuating that Megan Thee Stallion got upset. That is why they ended up having a heated discussion in the car. Some things were alleged that the best friend of Megan Thee Stallion had something to do with the shooting as well. A lot is going on. The way he speaks about it, because he doesn't directly speak on it, makes it seem as if it was an accident. as if it was not his fault. And the things that they have shared previously matter more than the fact that she was shot in the foot. So what do you think?
I think that I feel like it was tasteless to to try and like make a marketing ploy out of the situation. Like not even, a lot of people are talking about Breonna Taylor's, the verdict and things that happened the day before. Like if we can cross that out for like a second, right? And just look at this situation in a vacuum, it was just disrespectful to Megan Thee Stallion, as someone that you were dealing with, right? To one, I don't like when people put shit out on blast like that. I feel like it's, again, disrespectful. Just because y'all are public figures don't mean everything got to be in the public eye. Right?
Yeah.
Y'all can handle that together in private.
Well, it seems like they'll be handling everything in court now, but
you want to be public, we'll be public. But like again, like I said, like I think it was just tasteless. From what I understand, Meg held it down. So from what I understand, Meg held it down. Like she didn't really say shit. She didn't call the police.
Protect him.
His sake, right? So like for him to be out here like doing all that, like I said, I don't know all the details that I can only comment on what I see, and you already know I don't really like commenting on shit like that. But like I said, I just wasn't a fan of putting her on blast like that.
Yeah.
And also just again, if there was some, well, you can't really call it adultery because they wasn't married, but if there's any, shit like that going on, that's fucked up too. But again, like just trying to make it like a marketing thing out of it and all that type of stuff is bad. It's just bad. It's just a bad look.
It does seem like bad taste, bad timing as well, because the Breonna Taylor verdict about the officers that stormed into her house illegally came out, I believe that day or the day before. No, it had to be the day before, I believe. And so it just seemed like really bad timing, because the world is just hurt at the way the world treats Black women, to be completely honest. And then you have somebody who allegedly shot a Black woman, gaslighting the shit out of her, saying like, don't you remember what we had? Like, I was just flirting with them girls. I was just gonna get right back. Like, I don't know if that was a good time. He said that was also the day that his mother passed. And I don't want to say his birthday, but it was another significant date for him, which is the reason why he decided to drop that album on that particular date. I believe the 24th he did. Still, sometimes you got to read the room. You got to read the shit out of the room. And the room was saying, not right now. So he's definitely gotten himself into a few spats with a few notable people. My favorite one had to be the Rick Ross one. I don't know why, but I'm here for it. Here for it all.
Yeah, and it was just like, even with the talking about like how, I was gonna use the proceeds for Breonna Taylor's family or whatever he said it was for. It was like, and that's why I'm really big on like, everybody's not qualified to have a public platform and speak for Black people and make shit like that. Like, you got people like this, you got people like T.I., or you got people like Killer Mike and shit like that. It's like, it's all good until they do some dumb shit. And then it's like, and that's why he's always say like, y'all can't keep believing in these people because they're going to let you down real soon because they're not qualified to do this shit.
Yeah.
Like, not qualified to be leaders. They're qualified to speak. Everybody has a right to speak. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to put people in leadership positions and look for them to be leaders and make the right decisions. That's a very, 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 very like delicate position to put somebody in. And you can't just keep putting everybody that just sell 100,000 records, say, okay, cool, you can speak for the people. Like, it's not a good idea because they do dumb shit like this. And they're sincere, which is just, you're not qualified. And it's showing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Well, we share the same sentiment. I want to like dismantle this idea of celebrity. I think that it's a little toxic. And when we put people on those pedestals, like we talk about, it's very damaging. And I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I think the best thing to do would just get rid of it? I don't know. But then what would the world do? They'd burn down if they couldn't watch their favorite person on live at this point. It's so ingrained in society. I don't even know if we could separate ourselves. But moving on, prayers to Megan Thee Stallion and her family. Prayers to Breonna Taylor and her family. Two Black women that, you know what, just didn't deserve the bullshit that they're getting put through, to be completely honest with you. So prayers up to them and their families. Okay. On a funner note, right? I always love racism, little nuggets of racism. Wells Fargo CEO said, wow, it might sound like an excuse. The unfortunate reality is that there is a very limited pool of Black talent to recruit from. And being someone who, banks at Wells Fargo, I just wanted to know how you felt about the fact that he thinks there's just no qualified Black people, high enough to take care of this lovely bank that he's a part of.
So when I heard the statement, I was like, well, I could see why you would say that, and still shouldn't have said it, right? And first off, before I even go any further, I want to make sure everybody understands there is a very large pool of Black talent to do stuff. I'm not saying that there isn't. The problem is that it's two things that I'll point on so we have time to move forward. One, you have to understand how they determine talent, and they determine someone who's worthy of doing something. They've gone to Harvard. They've gone to Princeton. They've gone to what's that shit? It starts with the Wharton School of Business, the UPenn School of they went. Those are the people who are deemed talent, not the people that go to Morehouse, not the people that go to Spelman, not the people that go to Howard, not the people that go to Buff State, not those people, right? So then, therefore, to them, there is a very limited pool of Black talent because there's not many Black people graduating from those places, right? There are, but not that many, not as many as there are white people. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Right? So I'm not saying it's right. Again, so I want to make sure I say that. I am not saying that he's right. I'm saying that statistically, from what he views as talent, it's not present. Secondly, right? If you're also just not looking for it, then you're going to think that there's a limited pool of Black talent.
So you're telling me that there are no Black talent or people of color who have applied for these positions. Is that what I am hearing? You're telling me.
I don't want to talk anymore. If that's what you're going to do, I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to talk anymore. You're just doing Charlemagne. You're doing Charlemagne right now. I don't want to play. I don't want to play.
I'm just trying to figure out, as somebody who's a banker, how they feel about their leader.
In the process of trying to figure out how to get this money out of there. But
I'm just trying to figure out why he thought there were no Black people who can count. I don't know. I've come across a lot of econ majors, a lot of finance majors. I don't know what you need at a bank, but I've come across a lot of motherfuckers who can count. I'm not one of them. I still use my fingers, so they're not looking for me. That's why I didn't apply. But you can't tell me that there are no qualified people. I'm just trying to get you to speak for your people.
I told you what I thought. You tried to get your own co-host canceled.
I'm not trying to get you canceled. I just find it very funny, right? Especially when I look at a lot of these schools the schools that you named that these, most white people in those positions have gone through. Not to say all of them didn't get in because they dad knows somebody or
that's the fucked up part about it.
Library.
These motherfuckers is underperforming. I'm sorry. I go to a school like this, and if you hit a nerve, these niggas is sorry. These students are underperforming because they know that they have a link to go jump right into Wells Fargo. They just need the paper, right? So it's like, and honestly, with this shit, I know people that's busting their ass, killing themselves. I mean, OD successful. They just don't know nobody. So it's like, some people 6 degrees of separation is longer than others, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't. it's hard when I like watch documentaries or talk to people about how they got jobs or how they ended up where they ended up. And it's not because they got into Princeton. It's because their father got them into Princeton. Their father's money got them into Princeton. It's their father got them that job because they knew somebody at Wells Fargo. Like you said, like it's all of the above. And it's very frustrating because Black people, people of color, always have to be twice, 3 times, 4 times as good as their counterparts, and they still don't even get looked at. Because I know I'm making jokes and saying you don't think there's Black people who can't count, because I'm 1,000% sure there are a bunch of Black people who are more than qualified for these positions, and yet they do not.
Ain't go to school either. You take a nigga off the street right now that's running a drug empire, they can run your business to fucking success.
You're telling me you not only do you convert like clothes to pounds to this, to that, but you're also converting money. You're converting time.
You're converting grams to money. You convert grams to money, and you tell me you can't.
And you're telling me he can't handle your little bank mortgages?
There's no Excel spreadsheet.
Yo,
just off the top.
mortgages ain't shit compared to what he's used to. So I just don't understand where this ideology comes from that they just don't exist. Do they not exist, or are you not looking? And it pains me when you hear all the different stories about like, oh, I used to put my actual name on there, but then I only started putting my initials, or I used a different name, maybe my middle name or whatever sounds more white, just so I can get a call back. I just read 4 or 5 stories like that over the weekend, specifically after the story came out. And that really does make me sad, because it shows that it's not us, it's you. The racism was blowing out of his ass on this one. So I hope everybody pulls their money right out of Wells Fargo, not only because they're racist, but they also be stealing money from a bunch of their people that bank with them. I keep telling you, take your money out of that goddamn place. But hopefully now you'll actually do it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that, I always preach the 6 degrees of separation. Do you think that concept is problematic?
What do you mean?
So the idea, do you know what the 6 degrees of separation is?
I do.
Right. Do you think the idea that everybody is only 6 degrees or fewer?
I've seen some validity to it. I won't lie to you.
Okay. Because I've never seen it go wrong. Like I've tested this.
I haven't either.
26 years of living. However, at the same time, I recognize that for me, my degrees are much shorter than a lot of other people because of my level of access to things I've been able to access. So like my 6 degrees became considered. You saw just this weekend how you were able to say somebody's name, and I was able to say, oh yeah, I know, I could get in contact with that person. Like literally, I'm only 1 degree away from that person, right? As opposed to other people who weren't able to join my fraternity or didn't have the money to join, didn't have the time to join, whatever the case may be. They don't have that level of access. So I start to think like, I preach this thing so much, but am I kind of in a way being classist?
I wouldn't necessarily think so. I think you would be classist if you were, I guess, keeping your ability to connect people only within a certain group.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if it's kind of like what's happening at Wells Fargo, right? Like if somebody comes in and they're more than prepared for the job and you have the tools to connect them to that, help them get in that position or wherever the case may be, but you don't, maybe because they don't have the same education as you, maybe it doesn't look exactly the same, or maybe there's something lacking, but your friend who is not as good, whatever, all they are is your friend, and you put them in that position, then yeah, I would say you are perpetuating in that particular type of system. But if you are sharing the wealth with your brethren that look like you, I don't see what the issue is in particular. Because 6 degrees of like separation doesn't mean that you're actually doing anything. It just literally means that you are how many ever degrees from whatever person that you mentioned. But I do get your point, right? Like, if you're keeping your resources to yourself, or only people who look like you, or only people in the same, boat as you, economic class, whatever the case may be, then yeah, you ain't shit. And
Can we talk about the Michigan shit?
Okay, fine. So the University of Michigan, since Michael like little nuggets of racism too. So the University of Michigan had a lot of outlash recently because they had a group of students in a particular organization. I don't remember the name of it. However, it was a whites only discussion. I couldn't even get it out. Let me try again. It was a white only discussion. Okay. It was a white only discussion group, and they only wanted white people there so that they could have a conversation about whatever it was they felt they were being oppressed by, right? So they felt as if every other person of color, Black people, LGBTQIA people in general just had their own space, and they wanted to provide the same type of space for white people. And I would like to say that there were a lot of people at the University of Michigan who did not agree with the same type of sentiment. Now, me personally, I don't know why you need a space when the whole world is yours. However, I'm open to hearing other points of view. That's where you come in.
So I was under the impression that it was about white people getting a chance to process their privilege and shit like that. I thought that's what it was about. And if that was the case, then I believe that's very valid. I think a lot of times we try to lump white people in to POC conversations and Black conversations and shit like that, when it's like, no, y'all motherfuckers need to go in there and freely talk about your problematic shit the way that us, cisgender people get to, the way us heterosexual. The problem is that we don't intentionally put people in those rooms to do that. And they never have these conversations. We're always like, why the fuck did they never think about these things? Well, we never give them, not say give them, but we never make them do it, right? We lump them in with everybody else and say speak when obviously not going to feel comfortable doing it, right? So if that was the point of the space, then I fucked with it.
I mean, I think it's still hard, right? Because it's one of those things where, again, the whole world is yours. So then why do you need to designate this space for a whites only group? Like, I get a little nervous when y'all
anything white only, I get it.
When y'all by yourselves, like every time y'all by yourselves, like slavery.
I'm back outside with white hoods on, so
camps, like the Holocaust. I don't know, like white people, like whiting, just kind of scare me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like if it's not done with very intentional, I guess you could say, very intentional. That I don't know. It still just sounds very strange to ask this, especially because as people of color, we do still welcome white people to come and have these conversations. I think what makes me even more angry is that a lot of the time when we have conversations and it's a mixed group or it's a Black only group or I don't know, LGBTQ only group, like y'all come and then don't speak, right? Like you don't share your point of view. And I think as important as it is to be an ally and do that in your groups, it's also important to speak in our groups, right? Like we want to know like what y'all think, what y'all talk about, like why is things the way, like own up to maybe some of your own biases, blah, 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 blah. So I can see the benefit in having a whites only group, but I think that it definitely rubs a lot of like the whole nation the wrong.
The whole nation.
because soon enough it's gonna be majority POC, right? Before it's white in terms of who's living on this in this nation. So I think we have the right to feel some type of way with the history that comes with that, right? I don't know. It's a really sticky situation. What y'all gonna talk about? Like, y'all really gonna get real about it? Like, if y'all get real, for real, like, y'all really dig deep down, then I could go, oh, okay. But if it's one of those things where you're just crying because you're upset that the left did this and the Blacks did that and the Hispanics is playing that music again, I don't know, whatever white people get mad about. Racist white people, of course, let me specify, because there's some people who just think I hate all white people. I do not. I don't hate anybody, to be completely honest with you. Trump is making a good case though. Like really.
But that's the thing though. Like you know what I could fuck with the space if they sent a white in there that I trust to moderate it.
Okay. Like
I'm not saying like you send a motherfucker in there that I trust. then okay, bet. Like, I know they're either gonna get the conversation going, or they're gonna shut this shit down if it's not going nowhere. Like, I know that somebody's in there that's going to handle business. But again, like I said, what would you described? I don't, because what you're doing right there is all. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Like I said, I don't know. I this article came out a while ago, so I do want to apologize to you and the listeners for not being 100% aware of what the situation was, because I can't necessarily remember it too tough. However, the sentiment, regardless, was that it's unnecessary and it's very harmful. It's triggering for people.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. But yeah, again, at the same time, like, we also make the complaint all the time that we're tired of teaching. So, like, they have to, like, I don't want to always be around white people, but they also need to have these conversations. So there needs to be, like, I'm not going to say there needs to be a white student union on campus. I'm not going to say that there needs to be a, you know what I mean, well, they got white fraternities and sororities, but, like, they should congregate together, and they should talk amongst each other on what they're going to do to dismantle this, the system that they created. But what you're not going to do is, oh, well, black people get these things, black women get these things, but we want something for ourselves too. Like, no, you're not going to do that. Like, just because we have something now, all of a sudden you want it. Like, I hate that shit. So
yeah, that's why I say I don't know if it's just a cry about, I don't know, all of the privileges that you had before and are now being reevaluated and maybe even taken from you, then I'm sad to say, not really. But I have no sympathy for you or your group. I don't want it to be there. However, if it's there to, like, genuinely foster, like, conversation and get people to really be reflective and really think about different ways that they can dismantle all of this stuff, because we laugh about it all the time, but it's, like, real life killing people. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of people I know dying. So I hope that the University of Michigan did their best to, I don't know, have a conversation with these students maybe, or to at least try to make both groups feel like they deserve to be there, because they do. So, All right. I'm going back to the messy. So last thing, Cardi B and her husband are no longer an item. I don't know what she's going to do about all those songs with his name in it. Like, does she just put her, like, new boyfriend's name in it? Or, like, if she gets remarried, does she, like...
She going to still collect the check?
Offset's name off? Huh?
She going to still collect the check is what she going to do.
She's not asking for any spousal or child support.
No, I'm talking about the songs. I'm saying she going to still collect the check on the songs is what she's going to do.
Oh, so you saying it don't matter whose name on it. That's a flex. If I'm remarried and I'm still out here collecting checks with my old husband's name on it, recognize you can't tell me what to do in that house. I just want you to know there's nothing you can do now. I own this house. And that's it.
That's what's tough about them public relationships. It's like, like, you get to, like, in my quote unquote regular relationship, I get to be madly in love and shit like that and be expressive, but, like, shit go left. Give it a few months, shit gonna disappear. For them, like, what if they do anything, it stays out forever. So no matter what, people can always pull up. Yeah, remember when you were saying you had Offset's dick down your throat? Like, it's like, damn.
Well, I mean, at that time she did, and she really enjoyed it.
So yeah, it's a very unique situation, I think, and I wouldn't want that at all. I wouldn't want that problem at all.
I'm actually really proud of the both of them, because it shows that they're in a healthier place to say, like, this is not working, right? Before it got too much, she was on her Instagram live, I want to say about a week and some change ago, and she expressed that, like, he wasn't currently cheating. There is no baby on the way. I guess that was alleged, that he had a child on the way. And just kind of, like, all these different accusations. And she was like, look, we just got to the point where we didn't think we were meshing anymore. And we would just rather leave than to stay in a really bad situation, or in a situation that just doesn't fit them anymore. And to be completely honest, that's hella healthy. I would rather us sit down and be like, all right, I don't need anything from you. We have a daughter. All I want is that she has a dad and that her dad loves her. If you can provide that, we're Gucci. And so I applaud her for doing that, and him. I don't know how much credit goes to either one of them, but as a unit, or a used to be unit, I think that's.
What's interesting. I was about to ask. So if you're Cardi, how long do you take to before you date again? But then I realized even my bias in that, I didn't even think about Offset, just assuming he's gonna start fucking again. So for both of them, how long do you wait?
I think that men fuck through pain. Like, quite literally, right? I don't know if you've ever seen those videos where it's like showing the guy and the first week of breakup and he is having the time of his life. Like, he's partying, he's out with the boys, he's at the strip club, he's fucking bitches, he's talking to multiple people, like, excuse my bitches. But he's out there, like, living his best life. And then 2 weeks to a month, you fast forward, and he's listening to every Jagged Edge song he can find. He started to think Tory Lanez sounds good. The Weeknd is in rotation. Drake is now his favorite rapper. He going to all her friends asking if she's thinking about him. She ain't playing. She ain't. Because that first week, she took that time to mourn you, the relationship and everything. That first few months, she mourned. You was partying, and now it kind of flips its head. So sometimes men start to crave that deeper connection, or at least that's what is perceived, right? Mm-hmm. After a while. So I think Offset might bounce back a little bit faster. Also, what I've noticed, sometimes women who've been married before, and then also women who have kids, are a little bit slower to introduce or to start heavily dating or like seriously dating again. That's what I have noticed. So I think it might take her a little bit of time before we see her like with anybody. Not to say she won't be fucking, but before she's back on that horse. He might be there already, but we don't know. We never know. What do you think?
I think knowing what I know now in life, I would hope that anybody in their situation, two people I personally believe got married too quickly anyway, I think that they would take some time to just really like, there's no revealer of thoughts and shit like that like than Tom. Like, if you really just give yourself some time, you will really find out some shit about yourself. But I think in this instant world that we live in now, we kind of go boom, 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 and don't give ourselves time to really think about shit. And, I'm not saying that we'll get back together, but I think there'll be so much to learn if you just sat for some time. Go fuck people, sure, but like maybe not get in a relationship.
I don't know. I mean, I don't, again, like we talked about last week, I don't really put time as the benefactor for things, There are some people I know who got married in less than a year and are still happily married. I know some people who got married 10 years in and they're divorced 90 days after that. So like, I don't know. I think it's really just, is that person compatible with you, right? Like, lust is very strong. Love is very strong. I really believe in having multiple, I don't want to say soulmates, but definitely like soul ties with people, right? Very strong soul ties. So I don't know if it's about time, but also just making sure, like, is that actually that person? Like, do y'all communication styles actually match up, or y'all just fucking? Because, I mean, that's great too. Like, please don't get me wrong. But at some point, you're going to have to talk and work through problems. And, like, that honeymoon phase is going to end. And so maybe it just ended for them and they realized that they weren't as compatible as they initially thought they were. So best of luck to both Offset and Cardi B, and definitely to the little baby Culture. She is so cute with her little Birkin bag. I ain't see a little Birkin bag. I had to shake my head because the Birkin bag. Okay, honey, I am 25 and I don't have a Birkin, but she's got multiple. Okay.
Oh, so you was talking about the same Birkin that you were saying, why they buying that little baby a Birkin bag?
Because she don't want that Birkin. I mean, it's still a fucking Birkin though.
Okay.
She don't want that Birkin. Let me tell you something. All you motherfuckers that be going all out for y'all kids, all they really want to do is face plant into the cake that you bought, eat a bunch of candy, and run after they friends. If they two, let me tell you something. My child turns 1, that'll be the smallest get together you've ever seen. Like, drop the toys off at the door and keep it pushing. She ain't gonna remember none of this. It will be a family affair. It will be very calm, very calm. They won't receive big gifts until they can remember that they received big gifts. That's how I personally feel. So you spending thousands of dollars on a bag for a toddler that's gonna put Cheetos in it. Like, I mean, like, what else she gonna put? She gonna put her little like toys and Cheetos, and that's pretty much it. She might leave it somewhere at the store because, yeah, what the fuck she carrying a purse for? But it's still a Birkin, so okay, culture. Shout out to her. This whole episode is dedicated to culture now. So, boom. I'm done. Let's go.
All right.